Are live. Let me refresh. Make sure we are good to go. And we are set. So sorry guys, we're a little late today. StreamYard, I don't know, acting up or something. I was like, man, this is Mindset Monday. They're trying to
Right.
get this, trying to shut us down or something. What's going on here? Finally
That's what
kept
it was.
on, let us in. Now we're here. Now we're live. Um, while you're here, answer the question: how are October sales?
Mm.
There's three options. We do this every week. Want to know what's going on? What's everybody up to out there? All right, let me see who is here. And Sneaker Pickers, the man misinformation in hand. What up? Big Money Mo, Josh Brown, Christian, Rory Matt, Kaiser, Rory Matt again, and we'll see who else jumps in. We're very early
Yeah.
on the show, so
One of the cool things I do, Glenn, is when you go to like your seller hub, right, and you click sales,
mm,
and then you generate a report for this month, which is gonna compare it to the previous month. So we're 18 days in, so it did compare my sales to the first 18 days of September. I am up 40% compared to September in the first
nice.
18 days. So I was like, so as a Q4 gets deeper, it's just that's kind of like a really good sign that sales are starting to stand up.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, let me see. Sebastian, the plug, Patrick. Sales are burning. Fire,
Mhm.
Sebastian. Double jump. Decent means okay, right? Yes, Armand. So decent's like, nah, it's all right. It's okay. It's
Mhm.
there. So right now, 40% is decent, 24% trash, 36% great.
Mhm.
So we do know that sourcing has been off and on,
Right.
different things out there, most of it being clothing, less shoes. I did go to the outlet today. Interesting conversation with another reseller on things are and where things are headed. And that's where we're kind of going to go today on the live show. Top 5 tools for success by one of B's boys, his favorite,
Who?
Tim Grover.
Oh, all
So
right,
A
all
little
right.
Tim Grover today.
Some Grover action. All right, let's do
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir. Working with elite champions
Yeah,
such as Jordan,
Jordan.
Kobe, D Wade. So training, mindset, all of that. Why
Right,
am I unfocused?
right. So
There.
to give everybody a background story, Tim Grover is Michael Jordan's one and only physical trainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tim Grover, fresh out of college, uh, decided he wanted to train the best of the best. So he didn't settle for some rookie, some nobody. He went and applied and he actually did mail back in the day, mailed everybody he wanted to train. He picked his clients, and then lo and behold, one of those guys, probably one of the first only. He had a lot of no's, but the one and only yes he had was Michael Jordan. So
Which was funny because he remember he emailed or mailed, sorry, he mailed
yeah,
I was gonna say email, but he mailed the different things I wanted to be to train Bulls players, and
right,
Jordan was the one that he didn't mail anything
right.
to try to get info. And Jordan was like, "Hey, well, how come this guy didn't even ask me?"
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
Jordan ended up reaching out to him, and man, worked with him for I don't know how many years throughout this whole career.
Right,
Yeah, so see, there you go,
right.
Yaroslav. Yeah, he mailed everybody on the Bulls but Michael.
So
Um,
so he did. So I guess he heard from the Bulls organization, correct? Because the Bulls organization is the one that contacted Grover, right,
mhm.
and told him to show up.
And then now, I mean, it ended up working with Kobe, of course, because of Jordan and then D Wade and so on. Let me see, Patrick. Thinking of buying a lot of Jordan ones from sneaker stores because supply chain issue getting worse, which we're definitely going to talk about that. Steady sales, impressions keep falling. Says Kevin, sales picked up since Thursday. The plug. Sourcing is another story compared to sales, double jump. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about that because of some of the issues that do make sense where we're at right now on Mindset Monday. So, all right, top 5 tools for success, according to Tim Grover. Number 1, adding to your arsenal. So it says Michael and Kobe always added to their game.
Mm.
Michael said, I still have to do the things that got me to this point because it reminds me what I did and what it took to get to this level. And Kobe said the same thing. Kobe's example, of course, the fundamentals. When people become successful, they say, I don't do that anymore. So Tim's talking about how some people get a little too fancy, maybe. I don't do that anymore, kind of exit that out. And so Tim says, what do you mean you don't do that anymore? You should do that and then some.
Mm.
So you should continually be adding on to what you're doing to keep improving, but
Right.
not forget, what it took to get to this point.
Hmm.
And then I guess the way I would say is kind of like some people that I do run into here and there that know that I've done the Ross thing for a while and things like
Right.
that. And sometimes it comes out like, man, you're still doing the Ross thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're still doing the eBay thing?
Right.
And the crazy thing is like, even when tough times do show up, there's different options out there. Like we talked about garage sales and
Mm.
thrift and things like that. That's where I started. And then
Right.
getting into pawn shops and uh, Nike outlet and things like that. But it was never like, oh, okay, I'm doing this garage sales. I'm just going to stay here. I always wanted to add more and add more. You're finding new ways to add inventory.
Right.
And you're not just, okay, then I'm just too fancy for this. It was good to focus on
Mm.
one niche,
Right.
but it's also good to like, yeah, man, there's diverse things I can get products if needed, if things start getting a little tough. Same thing with like a merch by Amazon. I was doing really well in there, but I never stopped the raw side because I also knew that could also kind of go south. You
Right.
never know what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but at least I can add this. I can add this platform. YouTube never stopped. So I think it's good to always add onto your arsenal, like what he was saying here.
Right. I think 100% agree on that concept, but I think kind of like to just make it more, to go back to when you talk about arsenal, right? Adding something to it. I think the concept that people miss is whether to hold on, what arsenal to hold on, and what arsenal not to hold on.
Hmm.
Because I think I've seen that in you, uh, the garage sailing, the swap meets, right? Those were your strong arsenal before, and then to that you switched your arsenal and moved to Ross. Because
Yeah.
I think mathematically or financially, it made more sense compared to the time that you're putting in. I think you weren't really, you didn't stay, what Gary Vee said, you didn't stay romantic to what got you there. But I
Hmm.
think there's always has to be that arsenal that you're really good at, or your foundation, right? Even with your Amazon print on demand, right? Amazon merch, it was an arsenal that you've had and you've been really successful at it. But when it started to go, when it you know when you've reached the peak and then there's going to be a downfall of it, when you notice, you ran the numbers, it didn't make sense, you didn't put more time in it,
Yeah.
right? But instead you still had Ross and added more to it, and then you did outlets and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things that people miss, because sometimes they get too romantic about what got them there, but it's not even working anymore, right? I think that's one thing. So you have to figure out what's working and what's your strength. Now, when you figure out your strength, 100% agree on what you said. Add something to it. For example, like we do Nike, right? What's the other brand? Jordan, Adidas, or Converse, or New Balance? What's the other brand, right? Even just sneakers. Jersey. Those are in your arsenal. I've added jersey, I've added clothing, we've added a lot of clothing, um, and I think those are just things that, yes, you have to keep doing it, but I think you still have to have that sharper mentality, that one at a time, right? Because obviously we didn't see Kobe all of a sudden starts, or even Jordan, right? Like somebody mentioned about 3 pointers, right? He more focused more on his strength, on his playmaking abilities, compared to adding all of the same thing, all of those skills at the same time.
Yeah.
So so I think that's very it sounds simple, but I think it's the hard part is really staying focused, and basically narrowing it down to one at a time.
Let me go back to the chat. Let me see. Multiple sourcing channels, vintage profit. Imagine if Jordan added 3 point to his arsenal. People
Yeah.
don't accept that he didn't have to, says
Right.
Armand.
Yeah.
Let me see. Books and DVDs, thumbs up. Gray Stone, what's up, everyone? AN. Vintage concert and tour shirts, insane. Mid's definitely not in B's arsenal. Eric
Yep.
D. Let me go back. Jordan 1's going to go up with the inflation 180 new retail, which they usually add $10 every
10
time.
every now and
So,
then, right?
yeah. So he said he doesn't hate mids, just a profit margin, which I thought it
Exactly.
was funny when Big Money Mo found mids and then someone tagged you like, look at that B, like,
Yeah.
not gonna get mids or something. The thing
Yeah.
is, B was talking about mids at full retail
Yeah.
plus
Profit
tax plus
margin.
shipping
Yeah.
and all these things. But if you're finding things under retail, and
Yeah.
obviously you're doing the research on comps and to
Yeah.
see what the margins look
I
like,
mean,
of course you're
right.
gonna pick something up.
We all hate grade school Jordans, right? But look what I found. I found like 4 or 5 cases of those Jordan 1 lows,
Mm.
kids, right? So
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. I remember
you
which
know,
one.
keep staying in that mindset, and it's not really helpful, but yeah, but that goes to show you, right? Like my arsenal is actually knowing my numbers and running the ROIs and stuff like that. So if it's not there, definitely I'm not. I mean, like, same as the other Jordan, right? Jordan retros. Like, we're not a fan of Bordeaux 6 because of, obviously, it's not, it's the ROI is not there. So
Yeah. All right, let's go to number 2. And surround yourself with greatness. When you choose a partner, client, a mentor, they have to be just as crazy as you are. That's how
mm,
you get success.
right.
In business, they say you have to find that balance. You have to get someone the opposite. He said that's wrong. You need someone just as intense. The people around you have to be smarter than you are. You should not be the smartest person in the room. You have to have an expertise in one thing, and that other person should also have a different expertise in something else. These people do not need to be motivated. They're always wanting to learn, and they're showing up on off days.
Mm,
I think this is kind of tough. Um, Surrounding yourself with greatness. I guess, like, you should not be the smartest person in the room. I guess my example for that would be like, if you're the only one answering questions. I mean, if I don't know, you're at a party or like a bar or something, and then everyone just keeps asking you how to sell stuff or what you're doing, I guess it's different. I guess I could see that, but I feel like that's pretty difficult, especially from where we kind of come from and what we do, because there's not a lot of people that have that same common interest. And
mhm.
Big Money Mo knows, other people here in the chat know, like friends and family, like they really don't even care because they're just kind of like on the basic stuff, like
Right.
basic 9 to 5. And like I said, nothing wrong with it if they like
Mhm.
it, but
Right.
basic 9 to 5. Obviously, NFL going on right now, like it's funny how they like a team wins and now they feel like
They
they're
want.
just like they're winning in life or something like that.
Right.
But it's like, dude, there's so many other things going on right now. It's like the simplest thing. And then as my team always loses,
Right.
people ask like, dude, does it ruin your day? Does it ruin your week? I was like, man, Dolphins lose, and I knocked out 3 YouTube videos for the next 3 weeks. Like,
Right.
I have so many other things going on that it's not a big deal.
Right.
It's cool, yeah, and it's a different interest,
Hmm.
but I don't think like a team winning or losing should ruin your whole day or
Right.
even going into the week. Like I had a friend that was like, man, Monday Cowboys lost on Sunday, it just ruined my week.
Hmm.
Like I can't do this, I can't do that, and I just thinking about it. I'm like, man, like if this is tearing you down from a football game, like we got some issues going on
Right.
here. I know we're kind of going off topic, but
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with greatness, though, that's what I feel like. I think it is kind of tough to find that type of crowd to
Hmm.
maybe, or even not even a crowd, maybe just a person or two. But that's why I like the meetups when we had Out Hustled, because we have
Yeah.
people that are in that same mindset and want to do
Hmm.
things
Hmm.
and go further. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's definitely like the first step really of getting out of that. I would say the cultural norms, right? Like you said, like there are a lot of times that guys just gather around and just talk about sports and stuff like that. I mean nothing wrong with it, but if you're really trying to get ahead in life, or even try to get caught up, or trying to be ahead with your bills, trying to be ahead with um, basically your dreams, right? I mean, if you're a person that have dreams and goals, and you're spending your free time on things that doesn't really add or help you accomplish your goals, uh, you're lying to yourself. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is, right? Like it's like saying like, okay, I want to be debt free, but you're out there partying and spending money, which doesn't really add to your debt free goal.
Hmm.
So I think that's the first step. But I think one of the hardest things that, I mean, I'm having to, you know, the challenge that I'm having to face, even with our conversations, is like, how do we get to the next level? Like, who are the people that we need to surround ourselves with? I mean,
Yeah.
because to be honest, if me and Glenn just keeps talking by ourselves, we're really not gonna go beyond what we've accomplished anymore.
Yeah.
Because there will be a time that our brain power or our knowledge, right, will hit its ceiling, right? Unless we continue to educate ourselves, or unless we we meet other people. And I think that's kind of like one of the things that I'm thinking for 2022. Like, who are these people that I need to be associated with more, and who are these people that we need to talk to more?
Yeah.
So I think that's in every level, whether you've achieved your goal or not. If you're still trying to continue, I think that still needs to continue going up. Like we've had dreams to get 6 figures. Okay, we've accomplished that. We've talked to a lot of 6 figure seller. We've now we're trying to get how to do 7 figure growth and stuff like that. Who are these people that we need to attach ourselves to? Who are these people that we need to learn from? And on and on. And as you see, it's a pyramid, right? Like the income pyramid just goes smaller and smaller, so the crowd that you're trying to look for are going to be a lot more rare. So like one of the sayings said, like, eagles will only see eagles. They don't hang around with doves, right? Because the eagle flies so high that only other eagles will see each other in that high
Mm.
altitude. So yeah, they may be far in between where they see somebody else up there, because no other aerial birds or aerial creature that gets up that high. So I would see that as kind of like a comparison. Like, so if you're trying to soar high, there's going to be less and less birds that you're going to be seeing up there.
Let me go back. Let me see. What's up, Hustle and Muscle?
Yes,
Koo
sir.
Kicks, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That's what I've heard. Koo Kicks.
Yep.
Caltrix says, have to be around people you actually care about. Oh,
Hmm.
who actually care about you,
Hmm.
smarter or not, which is very true too.
That is true.
I think there's friends and family that may or may not care for you, and
Yeah.
that you figure out who is really
Yeah.
there for you or not. And I think that's very
Yeah.
true. Miles, what up? Resell freak. Smart people around you, plus the hunger to learn and execute equals success. And there's always more to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, I don't care how long you've been selling on eBay or how long. I mean, you can learn different things from different
Mhm.
sellers.
Right.
Um, and the funny thing is too, is like, even if you've been selling for 20 years
Yeah.
and a guy that comes in that's been selling for 2 years might know more stuff that's going on recently. If
Yeah.
that person's still stuck in their old ways,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and let's say things aren't necessarily doing the greatest, then yeah, they're not going to improve because
Right.
they're not really looking to improve. They're just stuck in that same rut over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me see. When people claim to be six-figure sellers in their Instagram bio, but they only profit 40K, makes no sense to me. People
Yeah.
like to base their net worth off of gross revenue.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, too, I mean, in the real world, beyond the Instagram reselling community, there's a lot of people like that. Uh, those are the people that are keeping up with the Joneses. That's what a lot of people do. It's just easier on Instagram, right? Because you may live in a a high end neighborhood, but that guy next to you has mortgaged every little bit of thing that he owns.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, he might have the nicer car or the nicer house or equipment than you, but to be honest, the net, right? He's not really making it. And one of the things that I found out is, winners will recognize the real winners, and I think that's once you're at a certain level, you'll know who's bullcrapping and who's not.
Yeah,
Trust me, it's. I mean, if you guys can see it on Instagram, you guys will see it in real life as well. The
yeah,
guy that rocks all the flashy things and stuff like that, and like listen to them the way they talk, and then let them do their sales pitch and stuff like that, and you can tell because the people that don't have it actually don't know how to act when they actually truly have it, right? It's just like
yeah,
somebody saying like, okay, you got a Lamborghini now, let's talk Lamborghini, and he then starts talking about random stuff about a Lamborghini that's not really actually factual because he doesn't own one. So then it will come out. But yeah, that will be normal, and I would highly suggest to just not care about those people. That's one of the things me and my wife says, like, oh, why is she like doing that, why is he doing that? And I always tell my wife, babe, do they matter? Are you
yeah,
trying to be like them? Unless you're trying to be like them, don't worry about what they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing though. Even like, we go live Mondays and Wednesdays, and I've told you guys too, like, I'm not a millionaire. I don't pretend to flex like one. Our goal is to get to 1 million, and you know, for some people it's quicker, some people it's longer. It's
Hmm.
different journeys for different people. I don't think there's any race for anybody to get there to the finish
Right.
line.
Right.
And once you get to the finish line, where do you go from there? Which is going to lead to number three, which is a pretty good one. But I mean, I totally agree. Especially, I mean, IG is just. I think it's very toxic from a different level too. My
Hmm.
wife's the same way, and she noticed, like someone that she follows, and then this person jumps up, like 2,000 followers from one day, and
Yeah.
then it's like people buy followers,
Hmm.
people buy subscribers, people buy things like this. Like, but
Right.
like what Miles says, a real recognize real
Hmm.
when you can really see through it and things are kind of like falling apart. These are just shortcuts. I mean, you can
Right.
buy fake stuff. It's gonna be a
Right.
shortcut,
Right.
but is that really gonna help you long term? I mean, no.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends what you're trying to do, but
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they buy clout. Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, what is that? People in love with likes. It's like,
Yeah. It's
man.
actually it's actually cheap.
Exactly. All right. So leading that into number three, expect obstacles. So steps to
Mm.
success are infinite.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, they're constantly shifting. Sometimes you can't even see the step, and the step ends up being quicksand. Sometimes you can't even climb the steps, you have to crawl up the steps. And it says, and when you finally hit the top, everything shifts and you're at the bottom again.
Yep.
You may get to the top and you look back down and you're back at the first step when you thought it was the very top. Sometimes you even keep climbing and climbing the steps, and so-called friends, family, or business partners are trying to push you down the same steps. So I get, well, when they were talking to him about, steps, it's
Mm-hmm.
because he said he always gets the same question, or like, what are the top 7 steps to success to get there
Mm,
quick,
right, 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 right. The
quickly.
steps, the steps.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
non-stop
remember
steps.
that in
Get
his
there,
book.
get there,
Yeah.
get there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty much saying these steps are infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do hit the top of whatever these steps go,
Yeah.
you realize you're still at the bottom because something
Yeah.
else changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's totally true.
Right.
And in this case, it's just kind of like, how many times 2019 did we get, man, Ross on fire,
Right.
Nike outlet on fire, I'm flexing on IG, I'm doing the best. And yeah, you're making more money, you're climbing these
Mm-hmm.
steps. Now steps are like, are they disappearing? What's going on? You're at the top, but now you're getting less inventory. Things aren't the way they used to be. Your steps are actually in the bottom because now we got to reclimb them again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we're at right now, especially after the emails I've been getting this weekend, which I'll talk about that later.
Right.
There's a lot of challenges out there, and things are definitely not the same like they used to be.
Right.
And we got to figure out our wins here
Mm-hmm.
and there.
Right.
Go ahead.
I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it. I think one of the things that you should get used to is facing obstacles, right? I mean, if you're a person that's trying to get to the next level, nothing like the man. I keep talking about altitude. The higher you go up, the thinner the oxygen, the harder it is to breathe. So, so that's kind of like a science matter. But if you talk about in a success path, whether it's wealth or happiness, right? Um, because in this channel we don't success is not money, right? Success is actually achieving your goal, right? Whether it's $1 million or just having extra $20,000 a year, right? For if you're part time or if you just want to have like a lavish vacation every year, being supplemented by this reselling business, that's achieving goal, right? Which is what I like about business because we all can have our own, I would say, game yearly or game per season, right? Because now, uh, instead of comparing yourselves to others, I would say compare yourselves to what you've done previously, right? Can you beat yourself? Can you beat your last year's performance? In all industry, there's always a performance review. And that's how people really associate promotion or pay raise based on that. Um, Nobody's gonna give you a raise or just a random promotion because you done below your previous years, right? So I think that's one of the things that like going back to the higher level you get, the harder problems because these are problems that you haven't faced yet. That's
Yeah.
why going back to the previous, topic is you have to find people that have done this and learn from them, and associate your people. Now you have to be the one asking questions in the room, not the one answering.
Yeah. And Caltrick says, exactly. I felt like I succeeded in life and had the entire game figured out 2 years ago. Nope, so much has changed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
60 plus watching, hit that like button. Baker brand, appreciate that. For Mindset Monday, select the goods, more money, more problems. And so, yeah, the steps, they're infinite. You keep going, keep pushing. And that's what I think is kind of tough, especially for athletes too. If you reach the top, I mean, what is considered the top? When you win a championship?
Right.
When you win 3?
Mm-hmm.
When you win 6? Are you trying to beat Jordan? Are you trying to beat, or is it when you retire? Because
Right.
now
Right.
you can't compete in that level. Now you're going to try to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's different for everybody,
Right. Right.
whatever those steps are going to be.
Yep.
And same thing for everybody watching this. It's different. Number 4, are you willing to do it again? So, winning is not about the trophy, it's about the grind, obstacles, and challenges and pain you endure along the way for that 30 seconds of victory.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind must now shift back because you tasted and felt something that you can only get through winning. Are you willing to do it again? And this example, I feel, is very much one of the examples I would say is like when I see people, they tag me on the time, all the time, on
Mm-hmm.
IG, like, I flipped this for 300.
Right.
Cool. Do it again.
Yeah.
I flipped this for 400. Cool. Do
We'll
it
do it again.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't end. You're not done yet. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to keep going. That's not going to be your only flip. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're in this for the long run, you're going to have many flips.
Mm-hmm.
If Big Money Mo tagged me on every time he sold something, I mean, where are we getting at this point? It's
Right.
just like
Right.
you keep going, you keep flipping. Cool, do it again
Mm-hmm.
because you gotta keep on. You tasted that win. You
Right.
tasted that flip. You made the ROI, the money you wanted from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need that next one, next one, next one. That's what he's saying here is like, are you willing to do it again?
Right.
Because of all the time and effort it took to maybe find certain products,
Mm-hmm.
list certain products,
Right.
and ship and everything that came. Because one mega flip didn't also mean that you were lucky on this one thing. You
Right.
also put in the time and effort to build inventory, to learn things, to build your eBay store.
Right.
Um, so that's what I would say. One of the examples. My other example would be the YouTube example.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, like my Thursday videos, they took off when I first did them. They were doing really well. We even did a live show. We talked about it like a month and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube pushing them out. And just like it says here, I tasted that 30 seconds of victory because, hey, I'm trying something new. YouTube's pushing it. The views are up. The money is up. It's coming in from those
Mm-hmm.
videos. Now it's kind of getting stuck in that same little rhythm where it's like the videos aren't doing as good as they once did a month and a half ago. And so it's like, are you willing to do it again? Now, what's your next idea? Now, how are you going to build it from there? Because
Right.
you got your little taste, but you're not done yet. And it's not going to last forever either. So now you got to keep going and figuring out new ideas. And nothing is easy. It's tough.
Right. I mean, 100% agree. And I think one of the things that I could share on that one is kind of like, the journey on how I got to where our eBay store is at. I mean, it was a lot to get to the next level. There has to be another level of sacrifice. I've always, believed that. So if you want bigger accomplishment, there has to be bigger sacrifices, right? So like just the recent thoughts in my mind right now. Um, I'm thinking like, what if I get rid of all the cars and just have one car? What if I downsize on everything, sell everything again, and like what I did the last time? Well, am I willing to do that? And for the longest time, it was actually the hardest question that I had to answer. I couldn't answer it, to be honest. Like I've accumulated a lot of stuff, just collection or like whole buys or something like that, but none of it really had purpose, right? Like, so oh, I like it, right? Like, 'cause you like the colorway or yada yada yada. And then now we're at a point that's like, okay, for 2022, I want to sacrifice as much as I can again. um because in different levels you're actually going to get comfortable in the win, right? Like once you win something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially in income, right? Like let's talk about pure money, right? At a certain point, you like the luxury of not having to think about what you're buying, right? Not have to worry about budget, right? But really, if you're trying to get to the next level, you actually have to think about budget again, right? Like because at the end of the day, you can have more money, but if your expense is higher, it doesn't matter. You're the same, you're at the same position where you're at. So one of the things that we've done is actually my wife has listed all of the stuff from back here, as if you guys notice that it's missing.
Yeah.
We've listed all of it because I'm thinking I want to reinvest all of it once the opportunity comes, so that it would take us to the next level. Because with the eBay interview, they've asked me what's next. and
Yeah.
kind of stumped me because like what's next, like you've accomplished certain things, what's next? So that was kind of like one of the exercise that I have to ask myself, am I willing to give up everything that brings me comfort, for a temporary discomfort, to be able to use that money to reinvest so that I could get to my next goal.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we have to think when you think about, what's your next win, because the next win is gonna be harder if you're trying to aim for something bigger.
Yeah. Which that's funny because number 5 actually has to do with the win part.
Oh.
Now you mentioned it. Let me go back up. RJ Funky Finds, what up? Gray Stone, sub 3 items a day. I don't have the eBay cha-ching on anymore. Big Money Mo,
Hmm.
Yarzloff, make videos about thrifting, what to look out for in pitfalls. Could do good right now with the dry season. And Rory says all about sustainability, scalability, then you win. Talking about the next win. So number 5, I felt like it was the most important one right now. I think more people can relate to it. So here's number 5. Then we'll probably go deeper into this one. Number 5, every minute you have an opportunity to win. Now, this
Hmm.
is from a recent interview talking about everything that's been going on for the last year to 2 years, business wise, lockdown, supply, everything like that. With everything that went on in the past year or two, people forgot how to win. It
Mm.
says people don't even know what a win looks like anymore. There's a constant shift, constant change. And now, with what is going on, you have to look at things completely different. Everybody's waiting for normal, but a win doesn't look like what it used to look like anymore. It's not about getting back to normal, it's about getting beyond normal and figuring out your next win. So, this one I thought was really good because yeah, it's not 2019, it's not 2020. And every win, a win is a win. It could be a small little victory here. Hey, I was able to list, you know, 25 items in the last, I don't know, whatever, 30 minutes or something. I was able to find this many items. I was able to get this many items in. Um, to small, hey, I sold this item. I mean, a win is a win, and it doesn't matter how small, how big, constantly just these little things that are just going to keep building and building and building. But I think that was totally true as far as like some people don't know what a win looks like anymore because they were so used to things doing so well that it was so constant. It was like, all right, I'm in this, I'm in this. And now that it's not the way it used to be, a lot of people are getting out of things. And I was talking to B earlier because, I did get different emails this weekend, and it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Hmm.
And one guy was like, "Hey, are you interested in buying my inventory?" We had 2 more guys that email me that are like, "I don't know what to do anymore. I'm done. I got to figure out, do I work? I'm in a different money situation. I'm in money trouble now." These 2 guys had very similar stories. One guy was more into like, what was working for me isn't really there. What should I do with this as far as getting more inventory in? Um, I don't know what to say because I don't know your personal situation. I have to dive deep into really
Right.
know. Like, what's your capital? What are your bills? What does your business look like? What does your store look like? But yeah, it's clearly not the same. But we're gonna keep pushing and take the small wins
Hmm.
over and over and over again, big or small wins. And I know everyone here, it's also in the chat, they're also gonna do the same. We know the people we see consistently, even the ones that aren't watching every Monday or Wednesday, we know they're out there.
Hmm.
And in the long term, especially getting out of this, we're going to see who's still going to be interested in doing this and going forward and doing that. And talking to another reseller today, I hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks, but he's like, man, it's been a lot slower out there. Um, most of it's clothing and this and that. And what's your game plan for this or game plan for that? And I'm like, man, like, and we're on the same page. He's like, I don't see it getting better, for a good while.
Hmm.
And the strategies are going to come into play and who really wants to stay in this and
Right.
do it. and it is going to be tough. Go ahead, and I'm going to see what's in the chat.
I think the most important thing really is kind of like Carl Trick said here. Winning is figuring out yourself and being happy and content with who you are and what you do. Um, I think when things get harder, I think this is kind of like I would always say is a time to pause, hit the brakes and truly ask what you want, right?
Yeah,
And it's kind of like more of like a refresher course, right? Like, because obviously you're not winning because it's a hard time. Um, so I would say to be able to experience a new kind of win, whether it's let's start with a small win. I would reevaluate things. Um, it is something that we do often within our eBay store, right? Reevaluate your items that you have. So that's just kind of like a very simple steps. We've said it over and over again. Retake photos. We are still retaking photos from the oldest item that we have because we can still say that, man, we could do this listing and this photo better, right?
fundamentals.
Yes. Now, if I can do that, I think you guys can,
Yeah,
right? We have about close to 3,000 items, and we still be able to manage it with a two people operation, and I still got time to take a nap. So it's not super crazy duper busy like how everybody would portray it. It's just time management. Um, but I think doing those fundamentals will actually lead you to small wins. Point being, get rid of your old items, get the capital back, right? And then, and if there's nothing good to buy, you have the money to survive on, right? Because I think two things happen, right? When you don't reevaluate your store, you think you have you think you have everything invested in there, and then you say, oh, it's gonna grow, but I bet you at least 20% of that inventory is not really gonna grow, right? Those are your dookie buys, stuff that you thought would do, but it's just not gonna work anymore. So get rid of that so you'll have the money so that you won't feel pressed that you have to buy inventory so much. I think that's one of the things, and I think figuring that out, I think it's an easy win because you already have those things in your inventory.
yeah,
Now the other thing is once you truly evaluate yourself, then you want to say like, do you really want a six-figure store, right? And I've said this to somebody, Glenn. I actually advised somebody. He said, I want to get back into reselling. What can I do? What can I do now? I said, to be honest, this is the worst time to jump back in it and expect crazy good results because
yeah,
Q4 is coming, and I said there's no inventory out there, and you don't have inventory. You don't have good inventory. And I said, but what you could do is you could clearance all your inventory and hold that money because once the time comes, you have to be ready to purchase. Because he has a full time job, he was a part timer and stuff like that. So I said, rely on your full time income, spend less, come up with a bigger capital because one day, when the tides turn, there's gonna be opportunity. So I think that's a win for him to actually recognize that, and he said, okay, I actually tried going to Nike and it was empty.
mm,
So sometimes not buying inventory and realizing that it's not time to buy could be a win.
yeah. Whenever people ask me that too, or they say like, "Yeah, I'm gonna jump back into it," or "I'm gonna learn that," or "I'm gonna do this and that," I always go back to fundamentals too, because I tell them like what you had said. Also, what do you have in your house already that you're not using that you can sell? Because people want to jump into that. I want to get 10 pairs here, 20 pairs here, Nike and Ross and all this stuff because yeah, how things used to be. They don't know how it is now. But I feel like the same thing could also happen with like listing on eBay and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you want to go for getting all this inventory in, but what about the fundamentals? Like learning to take the right photos, having the right listings, the right prices. Do you know how to ship out correctly? And and what to use. I mean, what's going on here? And so I feel like I always tell them do that first, then get into seeing about spending money on merchandise. Because like also
Mhm.
like B said, you're going to be forcing these issues right now,
Yep.
thinking that hey, maybe this brand will sell, maybe this brand will sell, when not really knowing because you want to jump in.
Right.
Fundamentals first.
Right.
It's always the key.
Hmm.
Let me go back up and see. Small W's to the big W's, R&J Funky finds for sure, and that's what people need to realize too. Like a W doesn't have to mean I sold this item and made $120 profit.
Hmm.
I mean, any win is a win. You're gonna take everything that you can to build up to that point. You made $20 here, you made $30 here, $40 here, and they keep growing. I'm gonna take every W possible.
Right.
The plug, people don't know how to adapt or look at the bigger picture, hope for the best plan,
Hmm.
hope for the best plan for the worst. Patrick, feel bad for those people. There is no shame in going back to work, which there isn't. I
I
hope
mean,
it
it's
works out for them.
actually a pretty good time to go back to work because people are paying more.
And a lot of people that don't want to work.
Yeah.
So at least it's easier to get hired this time
Yeah.
around if
Hundred
that's the
percent.
case.
So much easier. Right.
You exhaust all of your resources first, cross listing, starting an IG page for your items.
100%. Cross listing is fundamentals, Glenn. It
True.
costs it costs you $0 to cross list,
Yeah.
and this is something that I just made a comment to Glenn. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, because I was just trying to figure out how I could make better our Mercari store. And the next thing I know, I see Glenn sold listings, and I look at his store. I was like, man, you sold a lot. And this is just, like I wasn't even saying like, hey, what's your secret? I automatically knew that this guy was cross listing a lot of his items. And then I look at my store. I was like, man, like I actually have a bigger store, but Glenn has a bigger store in Mercari than me. What am I doing? So me and my wife got together. I was like, babe, look at Glenn's store. And next thing you know, she said, like, man, Glenn's able to sell this for a higher number in Mercari compared to what we're selling it in eBay.
Hmm.
So we sat down. I was like, what's the downside? So I said, let's not let's not spend money today. Let's focus on cross listing on Mercari. And that was actually fundamental. And I felt that was a win. And over the weekend we shipped 5 items for
Nice.
Mercari. So I was like, that wouldn't have happened if I
Yeah.
didn't look into it, right? So I agree. You have to exhaust the resources, right, that you have, that doesn't really cost anything. It's just
Yeah.
time. A lot of times, no one wants to sacrifice those time because they want to go out and find and hunt. When there's nothing to be found, it's better to cross list your Nike items, brand new stuff on other platform and make money that way, because it's actually free inventory because you already have it,
Yeah.
right? Like I just sold a pair of Cole Hunts for 120 on Poshmark when I can't get rid of it for $80 on eBay. So
Yeah.
what's that say? It cost me time to make more money.
And one of the things too is like what I do is going back to like some of my oldest Mercari listings. Like I know these aren't bad products, but
Hmm.
I feel like they also get kind of stale after a
Yeah.
while. And even when I'm trying to buy on Mercari and resell on eBay, I notice that there's so many listings that just get kind of lost in there
Yeah.
because they only really push the newer
The
ones
newer listing.
or
Yep.
people that run like a little 5% off or little deals here and there. So for me, I'm like, these aren't bad items. They're just kind of stale. It's been, I like to do it every like I give it like 3 weeks. If it's
Mhm.
just kind of like not really seeing the views, all right, I'll take it down and then I will relist them again and maybe change a couple of things in the title or something. And then sure enough, I sold, two of these hoodies that they were not moving
Oh, yeah.
and they were there, but
Yeah.
people just couldn't find them.
Right. Right. Right.
Let me go back on here and see. B is 100% right. Every five items I take time to update. I sell one of them within 48 hours. It works.
Mhm.
Eric D, I feel like Nike is doing their best to phase out resellers. And that was the kind of perspective that I think a lot of people had going into it. I don't believe that.
No.
I just believe everything that went on
Yeah, there's just a
threw
short
them
supply.
off. It
Yeah,
threw them off
yeah.
because
Nobody was
how,
ready for it.
yeah, no one was. And they had to figure out how many people they could limit in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're thinking, how many items can you buy per person? Now that we can see what's going on, it's almost like they don't want to sell products because they
Yeah,
know they're going to have a lot less for Black Friday
yeah,
time,
and Christmas.
holiday time, Christmas time.
Mhm.
And now I can see them like they're not really running any promos at all. It's like
They
they
haven't. They
need
haven't.
this inventory.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you think about it, right, if they clearance something, that means a lower profit,
Yeah.
right? So they actually need a higher profit to run, right? So now instead of having a faster sell through rate, they wanted to slower their sell through rate to make higher profit with that inventory that they have inland that's not on its way or stuck at somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caltrix asked them why they quit the first time around.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually asked this question, and the answers I always get is, well, things didn't sell as fast as I wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's almost like my number one answer that I get. I think people feel like things are gonna flip as soon as they list
ASAP.
them.
Right.
Yeah. And when it doesn't happen, it's like instant discouragement. But it's instant because that's the way everything is right now.
Yeah.
Instant gratification
Yeah.
on everything.
Yeah.
So that's mostly the answer that I get, which is pretty
Right.
crazy.
Well, because I mean to go down to the deeper problem of why it didn't sell well because you didn't do enough research and your expectation was wrong,
Yeah.
right? Like for example, like I buy a product and then I I think I want it to be $50 profit, and then the market says you can only make $30 profit. Obviously, it's not gonna sell quick, so you're gonna have to wait till everybody beneath you to sell. So I think those are a lot of the disappointments as resellers or even business people. A lot of businesses fail because their projection doesn't meet the reality. So
Mm.
there you go. There's a false expectation on a product that doesn't get realized. That's why they quit.
Gritty Girl Boss, what's up? We love Gritty
Mhm.
Girl Boss. Good to see you. Empty shelves aren't a good look for Nike too,
Right.
especially in Q4. Oh,
100%. Yeah.
exactly. Let me go back up. Big Money Mo. I mean, if you go full time, how can you fail? You should have planned bad times like this. Have a 6-month emergency plan from the get go. Very true. I mean, the thing is, that goes back to some of our other Monday lives talking about preparation,
Right.
strategy, making sense from that point because things, yeah, can get bad. And are you ready for it? And this is only part one, probably, of Tim Grover. We're going to go
Mm-hmm.
deeper into that on the other future episodes, but he goes a lot into adversity and some of the things that you're kind of going through, how you're going to get out of certain situations and keep going. Um, Let me see. Coup Cakes, one to work sucks, but the benefits are nice. There we go. I'm sending offers on Mercari right now. I made 2 sales during the duration of the show. Vintage profit, very nice. Let me see. Sold my first Under Armour sheet for 160 the other
Mine.
day. Resell of dreams. You wait, they will come. Resell of dreams. RJ. I got more listings on my Mercari page than eBay. Needed to dedicate some time updating it. I'm only doing Poshmark in November, 1 month, and I'm taking it all down. Vintage profit. Let me see. When is the best time to sell retros? I mean, I think retros at this point, complete with box, even like the longer you hold, the better because the
Right.
supply is down, and as long as the hype is up and the demand is there,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Oh,
win.
as long as it's the right retro.
True. There's 0 sales on most GR stuff. Can't have empty shelves. Cool kicks. Had a buyer say he didn't want to pay my price because he could find it for cheaper at the Nike outlet. 5 days later, he pays up and buys it from
Yeah.
me.
Because
Still
he went to the outlet and saw that they're high too.
Mark, I told a Ross employee that wanted to resell that it takes up to 6 months to sell, and her jaw dropped.
Yeah,
I mean, not everything's gonna sell right away.
right, exactly.
Jordan 1 mids on Mercari sell for dumb. Rory and Matt. Let me see. Shout out Code Kicks and Bosco, Bitar. A lot of business people don't know what they're talking about. Big money ball. Mercari lying hard on some solds though, says Rory. Yaroslav, think about it. Resellers have had it good for years now as the economy was strong, but there's always a downfall in the economy every 7 to 10 years. And yeah, we've seen that like going back to, like I said, 2008, the family business. They've already been in business for many years. And my dad knew if they could get out of the 2008, they could make it anytime.
Mm.
And my dad was like, to tell you the truth, I mean, they had that savings, they had extra money to put in case things got dry, and they got super dry on sales. A lot of people weren't buying it. And my dad was like, honestly, I think we're like 3 months away from shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
And they got out of it. Things got better. They kept pushing.
Right.
One of my Nike outlets only have full retail or $5 off price on in-bin shoes. Resell
Mm-hmm.
freak. Yeah, I went today. Man, it was rough. Nike prices are up in clearance stores at least $10. Sneaker pickers. Josh Brown, I always think that the product I'm buying will sell for less than market value, even though I list high. That way I don't create a false expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always good to price high. And then you might get the right offer too.
Right.
And something comes along the way. Of course, you're going to be smart about it. Should I take this? Should I not? What makes more
Right.
sense for me, my numbers, my business, ROI? See, I haven't seen a hash wall with a discount almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
Retail has to hold back for November for last minute shoppers. That's
Exactly.
when I think things are going to get crazy too. They've
Yeah.
they've always been crazy during that time, but
Right. Exactly. Imagine how wild it will be. I mean,
yeah,
hopefully our hopefully our predictions are right, but from what it looks like, it's leading up to it, which is for whoever you know that had that ant mentality that stored their food for the rainy days or the cold season. I think that's really kind of what makes your business bulletproof, right?
yeah.
Like you said, if you're ahead, if you're thinking ahead, um, if you've prepped for Q4, right? Like when I always say like come July we're starting for our Q4 prep already. And then to be honest, the last 2 months I haven't really pulled much of inventory compared to what I did before. So now I'm thinking it's like okay, that preparation worked because so I think that's what you gotta do to make your kind of eBay business bulletproof. You have to shop off season.
Zapatos. See, there you go.
Yeah,
Beer offering photo taking skills
not
hired.
yet, not yet. We're still trying to refine it.
Rory just made a Mercari sale. There you
Oh,
go.
I'm telling
Get
you,
those W's.
you know.
Get those wins. Lloyd Gonzalez, how long do you think, or do you see the backup being? Thanks
Mm,
for the value. So right now they have predicted, around spring of next year.
sure.
Talking to the reseller today, I was like, honestly, maybe like summer next year. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know. That's even from a prediction. I mean, we
right.
don't know, but I think preparation wise,
Yeah, I think
man,
that the tell will be because the stuff because when you're shopping for discount retailers like we do, right? We're buying past season items,
yeah,
right? So a lot of the items that we bought were from 2020, right? This year, right? That we're buying this year. So yeah, we have to put into consideration that a lot of the stores shut down, so there was no buying. There was a lockdown, quarantine, so there was a time where people really didn't shop. So that's why there's a lot of stuff that were still in stores, warehouses. Burlington did a different move. They clearance everything, they moved everything they had because obviously somebody knows that they still had stuff coming because they
hmm,
still have, clothing in there. I mean, pretty much their store is still filled besides shoes, right?
yeah,
So, um, so now I think the tell will be how aggressive people is gonna buy this Christmas.
yeah,
Now, if everybody buy, which we've noticed most of the releases, right? I've never seen Foot Locker and other shops sell out on their new releases. People
Hmm.
are paying $200 for Vapormax. People are buying Vapormax Plus, Air Max 97. There's no old inventory in store, right?
Mm.
When there's old inventory in store, that means it gets sent out to outlets, to discount retailers, right? Past
Like the
season.
space hippie or
Right. Those right. Space hippies, I think they're gonna sell out because I think they're at $79. I think they're gonna be like the cheapest low end shoes that people are gonna start buying or start gifting. So I think that would be the biggest sell if people buy a lot during this Q4, like they did in the previous Q4. I think shortage. What we're gonna be expecting is waiting for the production to catch up.
yeah,
I think that's what it is. With all the logistical delays, we're literally waiting for that. If those stuff that are in boats or warehouses don't get sold out when they hit stores.
true.
If they hit stores and they sell out, we're literally waiting for our next inventory still in factories or still in raw materials.
Oh man, Kimberly Jade out here in Canada learning so much from me. I appreciate that. Um, and yeah, like I don't like. I was telling B too, like I don't like getting these emails. I don't like to hear, "Hey, what do I do from here?" and things like that because you guys winning doesn't affect me. And that's why when we say like when people were say like, why you're letting everybody know about Ross? Why are you letting everybody know about this? When I first created the channel, you winning doesn't affect me because you're totally somewhere else and you have different plans and different things you want to do. Maybe it's a side hustle, maybe it's a full time, maybe you have goals to pay off certain debts. I want to see you win. And that's the way we want to keep supporting each other. Now
Right.
that things are tough, it affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
Less people watching the channel, less people hearing the live shows, less people selling, and also you might see it as well. If people are getting out of it, less competition.
Mm-hmm.
True, there's good and bad with everything that comes
Right.
with it, and so we're just gonna take one W at a time, small or big, and keep
Yes, sir.
going. So, all right, that is it for the Monday Mindset Show.
Man, nailed it.
Wednesdays, I know B was ready. That was Pastor B. We'll be ready to go Wednesday as normal. We'll go through the fines, see what else is out there. And deeper conversations like this, I like it. I enjoy it more than seeing the fines just because even when the fines are hot, it's just always good to have the conversations of what's going on and how to prepare for things, strategize on things, the mindset as well. So, all right. Appreciate that, Lord Gonzalez. The plug, great show, fire. Appreciate that, everybody, joining us for the Monday show. And we'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday show, and then Wednesday. One of the Better Mindset Monday guys. Appreciate that. Trap Al Bundy. And we'll see you. Go out and get it.